David here with Figboot on pens. Today I have for you a pen that I'm really excited about. It's something from my personal collection that I picked up at the DC show, and it has captivated me ever since I laid eyes on it. The name of the company is Pen 8111, and the name of the pen is the Night Sky Sakura. What I'm going to do today is talk a bit about the company, Pen 8111, go over the parts and features of the Night Sky Sakura, talk about what I care for and what I don't care for about it. I'll show some measurements, some size comparisons, and provide a writing sample. A gentleman by the name of Yoshi Nakama is the craftsman behind the company, Pen 8111. He's based out of New York City, Brooklyn to be more precise. He came to the U.S. from Japan in the late 1970s to study fine art and has lived here ever since. He worked for almost 30 years as a fabricator for a very well-known artist named Sol LeWitt. Yoshi would make scale models and large fiberglass structures for the artist, and he kind of developed and learned many techniques that can be applied to making many things. In 2012, Yoshi purchased a wood lathe to make bowls and plates. And eventually that translated into making pens. If that sounds familiar, that's exactly how Jonathan Brooks got his start out as well, making bowls. Yoshi quickly grew tired of making kit pens and began creating his own resins and started to create unique works of art of his own. So let's take a look at one. The pen arrives in this unassuming box. On the front, it says Pen 18111. Now, I believe that Yoshi's wife helps out with the business side of things, but as far as the pens go, it's all Yoshi. He's pretty much a one-man shop. When I picked up this pen from him at the DC show, I asked him the origins of the unique company name, Pen 8111, and it turns out that 18111 is the street address of their home in Brooklyn. They seemed a little bit embarrassed by that, but I don't feel there's need to be. That's a perfectly good name in my opinion. It's unique, just like Yoshi's pens. Inside, there is a business card, and he kind of has a business card for each of the individual pens. So it's kind of neat when you get a business card that has the pen that you have on it. And inside, we have a little felt pouch, and inside the felt pouch, we have a pen. This is the Pen 8111 Night Sky Sakura. Sakura is Japanese for cherry blossom, and there is a lot going on with this pen. It's made of a brilliant blue pearlescent acrylic. Yoshi makes his own acrylics, and as the name applies, this pen is meant to resemble a cherry blossom tree with the falling leaves and petals. Let's start by taking a look at the cap. It's flat with a slightly angled edge. Now, this transitions into the cap, which quite possibly is the most beautiful cap in all of my collection. It is straight, and that there's a lot going on here. First of all, we have the cherry blossom flowers. They look fantastic, but I'm fascinated by the technique that Yoshi uses to create this look. The flowers aren't painted on. What he does is he laser engraves each of the flowers into the acrylic. Then he fills the indentations with a pearlescent powder and resin mixture. This way, the flowers are made of a material that are just as strong and durable as the rest of the pen, and they aren't going to wear or chip off. It wasn't until I used this macro lens, but I did notice a bit of pitting in the flowers, those very small circles that you can see in some of them. While it would be nice if those weren't present, it's really not noticeable to the naked eye, and so it's not something I even noticed until I was examining this pen with a loupe. I like that the flowers are different colors. There's a white, a pink, and a darker pink. The colors blend together very nice. The name of this model is the Night Sky Sakura, so it includes a golden yellow moon as well. I just love the varied color and pattern in this moon. It gives it a very planetary look. I also like that there are flowers and petals that are falling in front of the moon, which adds to the complexity of this design. I did ask Yoshi if every one of his pen designs are identical in regard to the flower pattern, and he said that occasionally he changes the pattern or shifts the flowers slightly when he has an emotional shift or gets bored of making the same thing over and over again. Okay, then we have the roll stop. This thing is just unbelievable. It's the branch of a cherry blossom tree that wraps its way around the cap, almost touching. I like that certain branches actually extend further than some going the other direction. It just gives it a nice look. What Yoshi does to create this amazing look is to design and create a 3D image of the branch he wants for a specific pen. He has several different roll stops. Some are more intricate than others. Some have flowers on them. Others are bare, like this one. And he sends the file off to a 3D printing company, which then prints the design in wax and casts the roll stops in various metals, like gold or silver or bronze or brass. This specific branch is bronze. And I just love it. It doesn't look like something based off of a 3D printing, at least 3D printing that I've seen in the past. The casting has little pits and markings in it that really resemble the bark of a tree, and the joints and branches look incredibly realistic as well. This is another model that I almost picked up at the DC show. This one is a more vibrant pink, and the roll stop is sterling silver. I don't think that this picture really does the pink justice. It's not quite as muted as this picture suggests. If I didn't spot this Night Sky Sakura, then I would have purchased this one. It's stunningly beautiful. Back to my pen. The transition between the cap and the barrel has a slight V-shaped groove of complementary 45-degree angles. The barrel is straight, and it's covered with falling flowers and petals. I love that the pattern of the flowers implies action. The petals are falling off the tree at an angle, and it really kind of creates a calm, tranquil picture in my mind of the flowers slowly descending from the branch, fluttering in a light breeze. Then the end of the barrel is again flat with a slightly angled edge. The cap twists off, and what I have here is a number 6 Franklin Christophe stainless steel nib. Now, this pen came with the Jowo two-tone nib, and that was perfectly fine. There was no issue with it, and while I typically like two-tone nibs, I just thought that this pen might look nicer with a solid color nib. Now, I didn't even ask Yoshi if he had straight silver colored nibs. He probably does, that I really should have. But after purchasing this pen, I basically walked straight to Franklin Christophe's table, and Scott Franklin installed the new nib for me. I've subsequently tested the original nib, and it's great. There's no issues with it whatsoever. It was honestly just a personal preference and a whim. I don't want to imply that there was anything wrong with the nib that came with the pen. It was a bit plain and devoid of a logo or anything like that, but just a basic Jowo design. And I just felt like I wanted something a little different on this pen. Both nibs are great, but I am really loving this Franklin Christophe medium. And here's a look at the plastic feed. The section is slightly flared at the end, and the overall size and shape of the section really work well for me. It's very comfortable in my hand. The back of my grip tends to rest on the threads and the step up to the barrel, and I don't find that transition to be uncomfortable at all. This pen does not post, which is fine by me because this cap is so cool to hold. The branch makes kind of for a unique feeling in your hand. This is a cartridge converter pen. It accepts standard international cartridges, and a converter is included. The Night Sky Sakura isn't just a pen. It's a special piece of art. And it does have a rather steep price. It retails for $4.75. For a pen with a steel nib, that is a steep price, but I will tell you this. I feel that this pen is very much worth it. Like I said, it's a unique piece of art. If you have something like an Urushi Nikaya, it could be a gorgeous pen to a pen person. But if you show one to a non-pen person, then they might think it was nice, but not really comprehend what really went into that pen and why they're held in such high esteem. But if you show this pen to someone who's a non-pen person, they'll appreciate the beauty of it right away. It's more accessible art, if you will. While it does have a rather hefty price, I feel it is worth every penny, and I have not regretted the purchase at all. It is amazingly beautiful and a great writer. I'll put a link in the notes below to the Pen 8 111 website so you can check out some of Yoshi's other amazing creations. They are incredible. I have a couple of these dudek cubes that I keep on my desk, and I usually keep some newer pens in there as well as some that I'll be reviewing soon, and then after a bit pens kind of get moved from there into some of my other storage. But this Night Sky Sakura has not left my cube on my desk. I just love looking at it even when I'm not using it. It just makes me happy to have it sitting around. And it's very quickly risen up my list of favorite pens in my collections. There's just something about it. I love pens that, in my opinion, have a high cool factor. And for me, this pen oozes cool factor. So now it's time for some measurements, size comparisons, and a writing sample. Here we go with some size comparisons for the Pen A 111 Night Sky Sakura. In regard to some blue pens, here it is with a Sailor King of Pen Pro Gear. Then here it is with a Lamy All-Star. And then here it is with a Pilot Vanishing Point. And in regard to some orange pens, now there isn't a lot of orange in this pen. I just thought it looked nice in contrast. Here's the Delta Dolce Vita Stantufo Oro. Here is a Diplomat Aero. And then here is an Edison Herald. And then also, just to show you, this is the original nib that it came with, a standard Jowo two-tone nib. Nothing wrong with it. Like I said, I just wanted something a little different on this particular pen. So let's take a look at this pen here, which is the Pen 18111, and it is the Night Sky Sakura. And it is a medium steel nib. And the ink I'm using today is Robert Oster Bondi Blue. This is what the ink looks like. It's a nice vibrant blue that has some nice shading and sheening, kind of somewhat in the same family as the Pilot Iroshizuku Konpeki, as well as something like Kobe number 17. This is what the bottle looks like that the Robert Oster inks come in. It's nice. This is an ink Bondi Blue. It's named after one of the most famous beaches in Australia. So let's get to the rest of the writing sample. These Franklin Christophe nibs are fantastic. Every single one that I have a few Franklin Christophe pens, and they're all fantastic. It's steel nib, so you're not going to get a lot of line variation, but the ink flow is decent on this pen. In regard to reverse writing, it works just fine. And in regard to some fast writing, the feed has no issue in keeping up. So there you have the Pen A 111 Night Sky Sakura. I think this is a unique and amazing piece of art that is also very functional because it performs very well as a pen. So I hope you enjoyed taking a look at it. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you later. Jenny. And now in regard to some orange pens, there's really not much orange in this pen. I just thought it looked nice in contrast to the blue. Here is the Delta... Jenny, leave it. Jenny.